Hello, Awifians. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to you all. I hope you're well. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend with your family. Please come join us. Take the time to talk about our mindset. My name is Lillian Moller. If this is the very first time you're watching me live, I am the founder and CEO of the African Women's Economic and Entrepreneurship Forum, the place where we challenge the status quo for economic advancement of African women. It's been months that we've been talking about our mindset here on this platform. And many of you have questions, many of you are working on your mindset, and we are all making progress. We are all making progress. There is no slow or fast pace to this change because it's really deep and it has some cultural bearings with it. So please do not judge yourself. Do not be too harsh on yourself. Do not be too hard saying you're not moving on the pace as others are doing, because it's not a marathon. It's not a competition. And we all do not start on equal foot. Not equal footing here. So please help me welcome my sister. Like always, we come here together. Hello. Your microphone is muted. Can you voila, there you go.
Yeah. Okay, you can hear me now. I'm sorry.
Perfect,
Um,
perfect.
Hi, Lillian.
Hi, how
Good
are
morning
you?
from here. Good, good. Okay, so happy Thanksgiving. Well, for us, we just had Thanksgiving yesterday.
What are you grateful
Yesterday.
for?
Oh Lord, for a lot of things. First, for life, it's not easy. It's been a tough year, 2020. Oh my God.
Yeah,
So if we're able to keep our sanity and stay alive this year, that is
yeah,
enough to be thankful for. And
exactly.
numerous other miracles, yeah.
Amen, amen. And I'm thankful for you because you give to this community like no one does.
Yeah.
So I hope that God will spare us, give us good health, that you can raise
Mm.
your children as beautiful as you are in the most loving and kind way is my wish for you, and that you continue to support the entire. You have a non-profit organization in Nigeria, and we're trying to raise funds for this organization to feed people this coming Christmas.
Yeah.
COVID has brought its own trouble on
Yeah,
top of
and NSAS
the
too.
trouble. So please tell us
Yeah,
about
and
it.
on top of that, we had some chaos in Nigeria, the NSAS protest and then loss of life, killings, maiming of people. So it's really been a tough year. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really proud of people like you. When I work with people like you, when people like you surround me and encourage me, you give me the reason to continue, because this is really a non-profit. No one is paid. We throw
Yeah.
our money in, we throw this in, we throw the time, we give a knowledge, we coach people. So I am so happy that I have you by my side, and I'm so happy for the women that you will be coaching through this platform, because my aim on this platform is not to do it all. Africa does not belong to me alone. It belongs to me
That's
and
right.
you.
That's
So
right. Yeah.
as from next year, we're going to be putting a package together where you can really coach the women. You are one of our coaches on this platform,
Mm.
that you can really coach the women through their fear, to encourage them, and hope that through your organization as well, that anyone watching this live stream, you will be able to donate as little as $30. So
Thank
please
you.
help. My hands are stretching left and right. Africa is a continent of how many billion people? Please stretch, dip your hands down in your pocket and help this organization that she's putting together. So
Thank you, Lillian.
you're welcome. You're really welcome. We have been talking about revamping our mindset because of the cultural handouts that were given to us. It no longer suits this epoch that we live in, and we've been given different examples how we can manage our fears, how we can collaborate, how we can hold the space for other women. Today we are going to be talking about one strategic point that you have to share with us on how we can revamp our mindset towards our success. So please help us. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Lillian. And thank you about the nonprofit and all you said. So for today, we're talking about, one of the things that will help you not to empower fear, that should be able to help you revamp your mindset. And like you said, our mindset and mindset plus our values and everything was formed as we were born and from family, church, culture, everything else help form our mindset. So, as far as I'm concerned, one of the things that will help us not to empower fear is to learn to question things.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry,
It's okay.
my kids are, yeah. It's for us to learn to question things, for us to learn to confront things. Now, truth is, as a cultural raised person from Africa, there are things we are naturally, or women per se, there are things we're naturally not allowed to question. And so it kind of plays on us, it kind of, hinders us and limits us. I know growing up, when you hear someone maybe abused his wife or someone beat his wife, um, the question is not, hey, what happened? The question is, shh, don't say it out. Don't say it anyway. Don't let anybody hear it.
Yeah.
Now, your your great grandparents must have gone through the same kind of a deal, and then it just gets recycled. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's questioning those things. Nobody's confronting those things. We just have to shush and flow with the status quo. I know one of the things you do here is to challenge the status quo. So
Yes.
for us African women, we tend to just go with the tide. We don't question things. We don't confront situations. Now, for let's say we want to go away from the issue of marriage, though. Let's talk about personally as human beings, as individuals. Most times, the woman does not understand that she should own it all. They will tell you that you are bossy. That's okay. You're only being assertive because if a guy does the same thing you're doing, oh, they will hail him for being brave and bold and all. But when you were a woman, doing the same thing, you are told to tune it down. You're too bossy. You are assertive and all what negative connotations. And we don't confront those things. We're like, oh, I don't want to. I just have to be seen and not heard. I know, growing up, my grandma would say, a woman is supposed to be seen and not heard. I'm
Yeah.
like, who even say what? How does even from the Bible? How does that even make sense that I should just be seen, be a ceremonial person with no voice? Like it doesn't make any sense. So if we learn to confront situations, learn to confront things, there is no way you will limit yourself. The moment you learn to speak out, constructively, intelligently, as brave as possible, people will want to listen to you. Now, giving using myself as an example, I got into this very fast-paced environment sometime January, and after my training in my workplace, I felt maybe being a lawyer, having a legal background, and being a lot of things, I felt maybe my boss wants that perfection. If I'm trying to work and I want to ask questions, I kind of wonder, should I go ask? What if they see me as a very daft person who couldn't pick up immediately? Now, truth is, most of the reasons why I felt that way was because I'm a woman, right? I think if he's a guy, if he doesn't understand it, the first thing is to, who's my supervisor? Even though you have been trained, they just go out of their way because they understand that what's the worst that can happen. So until I got that mindset of what's the worst that can happen if I go ask for clarification, even though I have been trained, it's okay to want to be cleared on certain things. Even though you have gotten all the hands-on training when you got into the job, if you do not understand it, still go ask. It doesn't matter if they want to see you as a daft person or a dons or a low IQ. It doesn't just get what you want from them and increase your productivity. So mainly I ask myself, what's the worst that can happen? Like I need to question some of these things I've been taught. I do not really understand them. Doesn't matter if they feel I don't have sense or brains. That's fine. It's on them. It's not on me. I just need my clarification. So once I went to ask and I was cleared, my productivity increased. But most times, as women, we'd rather just wait it out and not want to go ask because we don't want to be seen in a certain way. It doesn't matter how they want to see you. I mean, just do what you have to do for your own conscience to know that you've been able to move past certain things. So in that from myself as an example in the workplace, I understood that as an individual, it's okay to keep asking. It's okay if you don't understand, if you think this is not serving you well, question it, talk about it. They may not even listen at first, but don't tune down your voice because you want to be accepted or you want to be seen a certain cultural way, how women should be seen, and
Mhm.
all those kind of things that we are indulged with every time for being
Exactly.
women.
You know, when you gave this point, when I said let's find one, give me the point that you would like us to discuss about. You brought this point. I was really overjoyed about it because the thing is, it's not that we African women we do not know how to question things. The thing is, we go with extreme aggressivity. So people are ready to fire back. It's like, what? I'll give you an example. I had an issue with a car, with somebody else's car. My God, I was ready for this person because I was like, what in the hell? I'm sure it ended good for me, but I'm sure he will never try that again with a black woman, never again. And there is this fear because of the way we ask for things, the way we confront things. There is no gentleness in it, and I'm guilty of it. I just told you now. You know, of course, on that day, that was not the day to try me. So what impression have I left this person with? Is aggression, you know, being aggressive instead of explaining myself. But sometimes it's necessary. It's necessary to really, you know, stand your grounds. But we African women are known for it to be tough, to be loud, to be, you know, to be really like, so that's not really what we are talking about here. What we are talking about is question, ask your question, confront the situation on a less aggressive tone or manner. And that's really, we were made to believe we are strong, we can handle anything. So if anybody throws anything at us, even if it's just a joke, we are ready to fight. We are just ready to fight when there is no reason to fight. How do we tone it down?
I think, you know, when you said that, it kind of, some parts resonates with me. I feel because of, will I use the term suppression? Because of where women are coming from, it's just like even in the US, women were allowed to vote when. It's not like it's been long ago in the 60s or 70s, thereabouts. Yeah, late 60s. So women have gone through a lot of, like, the recycle of um you don't really matter, your voice shouldn't be heard and all that. So now that we are even giving a little glimpse of, hey, you can speak your mind, we want to speak it so
Explode.
loud and shout and be, and you know, the term aggressive is not used for guys. I keep saying that it's mostly used for women, and it's not something when they use it in the negative, it's as if you're overdoing it. But for crying out loud, when you're fighting for your right or for what really is yours, there is no overdoing it, except you're not really fighting for your rights. Like, if you're fighting to be heard, there is no how it's like I'm trying to explain that if really something is wrong and I'm trying to voice it out, there is no overdoing it. Like, until I'm heard and listened to, I just have to keep speaking. And anybody can tell me it's aggression, boldness, whatever it is, but anyone who's going through suppression or any kind of discrimination or whatever, there is no overdoing it until you hear them and decide to listen to what they are saying. But for the part you're coming from, yes, I believe that most women also need
Yeah.
to need to know when to be diplomatic, you know, and when to let things go. Yeah, if he batched your car, you batched his car. He wants to come and, you know, try to
Yeah, yeah. You
um
go get your expensive car and throw it on somebody
intimidate
else.
you. Yeah, because he may want to intimidate you. Ah, it's just a woman now,
Exactly.
and you're
Exactly.
like, look at this one, don't try that, and and all that. So I kind of understand where you're coming from when you say, you know, the aggression part. But that's not what we're talking about. We just want to
Exactly.
be
And
diplomatic when you're speaking.
we have a comment. Can I say something? Is it low self-esteem issue? Oh, and this is coming from Kenya. I'm glad she commented. This is an amazing lady who is struggling right now to pivot her business. We had one person who was interested in investing in her business, but the person
Oh,
retracted. So if anyone is watching this live stream, please contact me because she's trying to pivot her business to something else due to COVID. We are working on it, but what we had as promised did not
was
work.
not.
But don't
Yeah.
worry, as I said to you, my dear, we will find a solution. So back to the comment. Is this a low self-esteem issue?
Thank you, Phyllis. Yes, the truth is a combination of a whole lot of things. If from what we are talking about, which let me believe her question stems from the aggression part that we're speaking about. Yes, I think anybody that understands themselves, if you're self-aware to an extent, you actually know where certain things fall in place. Aggression is not used where diplomacy should be used. So if I'm in a board meeting and I'm trying to maybe make a contribution to what should be a bylaw of my organization, and the other board members are not buying into it, it's not time to start being assertive and aggressive and trying to push your points. It's okay to retreat and try to lobby them, one by one to make them understand why this what you're pitching needs to be part of the bylaws. Don't start asserting and for what, as in there are places where if you're self-aware, your esteem is built and fine, you should be fine whether they accept your propositions or not. It's not time to start gallivanting everywhere and start trying to push down your points. So self-esteem has a role to play. The moment you are self-aware, there are things you just look away from. It doesn't stop, it doesn't diminish you or increase you. It doesn't even, limit who you are. Like I tell people, it's not all the time you must prove a point. It's okay to walk away sometimes. They may
Yeah.
see you as weak. You already know what you want to achieve. It's okay. They see you as, oh, that one, she doesn't even know what she wants. That's fine. You know what you did and why you did what you did. So just walk away. So sometimes self-esteem also plays a huge role in how we respond to things. So yes, Phyllis, sometimes having low self-esteem can impact on how women, deal with issues.
Yeah, and the point here is it's not about winning all the time. The point is setting, putting your idea or your point, put it in through. For example, if, as you said in the board meeting, it's not about winning all the time, but you want to leave an impression. So, what impression do you want to leave? Just think about what you want to leave as an impression when you are in meetings, when you're in gatherings. You don't have to win all the time. You don't have to be seen all the time or heard all the time. Like my husband would say, silence is gold, but you don't have to be silent all the time because women are always silent. And it's also a matter of how we put our points through, the words we use. If you look at people from the developed world, they will use things like may I, could I. But we Africans were like, I want this. You want? It doesn't work. It's a language problem. It's also a body language issue. The way you address the person, how do you look in the eyes? Our culture does not permit people to look in the eyes of others. So how do you want to be taken serious if you're looking on the ground and asking for something?
That's right. Yeah, especially look into the eye of an elder. Are you okay? How you can't look into the eye of an older person. We have a lot of culture, but I think it worked for us when it did. But because the world is going towards a different dimension, we just have to, keep moving. So another reason why we have to learn to question things. So as a woman, as an individual, I know a lot of people have the fear of public speaking,
Yes.
and the question I ask people is, see, what's the worst that can happen? The moment you ask yourself, I want to do something, but I'm not feeling up to it, sit down and take a step back and try to figure out what's the worst that can happen if I do this. So let's say you're preparing for an exam and you're so scared and all. What's the worst that can happen? Is either you fail or you pass. So if you don't fail, does that define you? Even if you pass, does it define you? Like none of these outcomes will define who you are. You already know who you are. You know how strong you are. You know how built you are. You know the values and the things you exhume. So why do you allow certain things to define the moment for you? So the moment you ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? Nobody's gonna die, right? Good.
No.
So just do it.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
boss will always tell me, if the mistake you made doesn't leave anyone bleeding, then don't worry about it. Is anybody bleeding? You're like, no, please just move ahead. So I understand, what you focus on is what grows. So the moment you ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen if I confront this situation, if I confront this fear, what's the worst that can happen? If the response you get in your head is not going to kill anyone, then go ahead and confront it because fear will not leave, and your mindset will not be revamped. Fear will always play on you until you choose to act. So action is what will dispel fear, and action is what will help your mindset to be revamped. So as far as this mindset revamp is we're talking about it, always ask yourself, what's the worst thing that can happen if I do this? If nobody's going to die, please go ahead and do it. If you're not going to cause yourself so much hurt and harm and pain, go ahead and do it. Once you confront that situation, for crying out loud, I try to remember all the big men in the world who has lived, Mahatma Gandhi, even Joel Austin, Abraham Lincoln. All these men had fears and things, that would have held them bound. But their mindset was changed the moment they understood that the worst thing that can happen is that they will limit themselves if they do not confront the situation. So the moment you learn, okay, I remember reading about Oprah Winfrey, who was paid so much less than
Yes,
her male
yes,
counterpart, right?
yes,
So the question is, I want a bigger pay. And what's the
yes,
worst that can happen? The worst that happened was we're not going to pay you what you were asking. She
yeah,
was earning around 25,000, 20 something $1,000 per annum, and her colleague was earning 50 something thousand per annum. The same man you do the same show with every day earns how many percentage higher than you. She says, I want to confront this situation. What's the worst that can happen? Well, it wasn't granted. And what happened? She quit the job. She's like, they do not value me here. I can't remain here. And once you confront situations, you give yourself the permission to make decisions that will impact your destiny and your future. What happened? If peradventure um Oprah Winfrey was granted what she was aiming for, she may not have become the first
yeah,
black billionaire
yeah,
woman in the
yeah,
world. But
yeah.
that failure, confronting the situation, helped her move ahead of her time
Yeah.
and become someone who we are referring to now and talking about today. So sometimes confronting that situation is the only um, barrier you have from going to the next level,
Yes,
of your destiny, your success story, or whatever, to
yes.
remaining where you are not celebrated. So I believe women should learn to confront situations, confront things. If it's not serving you right, talk about it. Be as diplomatic as possible, but let your voice be heard. If you do not do that, you remain where you are. And how do you, influence yourself, people around you, and change your mindset if you refuse to confront things or situations?
Absolutely. And that brings us to the quote of the day, which says the important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. Ta-ta! So you will not be the first. If anyone is trying to confront a situation, you're not the first and you will not be the last. Somebody did it before you and someone will do it after you. The only thing is you are not leaving any positive impact, you are not making any change, and you are the one standing at the same position, junction in your life, and you're not trying to push yourself to the next level. Your choice, your decision. We are here to support you. I know the circumstances in Africa is not the same like that of the developed world, but we have to start making this movement. We have to start thinking the same. We cannot just sit there and dream. If Africa was like this, if this was like this, start those changes in your household. Ask. We did not say be aggressive. We said to confront the situation, not in an aggressive manner, but to put your point through so you leave a positive impact for yourself so that you can move to the next level. We are almost at the end of this live stream with our fear strategist. I am I know that it's easier for us out of Africa to say all what we're saying here today, or all what we say here is easier. But there are also advantages of those back in Africa that we do not have. You might think it's easier for us to say what we're saying it because we are far from it. We're not that far from it. Even here in the developed world in Switzerland, it's not easy for a woman to ask for what she wants. But the fact that I'm here in Switzerland, I was born in Africa, and you are in the US, you were born in Nigeria. This is how women start making that movement in a much more positive way. So, Awifians, do not count on us to retract. Do not count on us, not to ask for what we want. Do not count on us that we will stop talking about this because we see the importance that this can have for women worldwide. It's
Yeah.
much more difficult for we, the African women, because of our culture. But ask yourself, is that culture feeding you? Is it giving you the happiness that you really need? So some of these ideas are not only for those in the developed countries, it's even more important for those in Africa. Because when you start making those changes, when you start confronting the situation and asking, then things will get better for you. If Phyllis did not ask, we would not even know somebody would, But who knows what's going to happen next? Who knows what's going to happen next? So we must confront the situation. We must ask in the most gentle way. And I believe things will open up. What's your last word for the live stream?
Oh yeah, so don't ever let fear win. I find out that most times it's just about fear. And a wise person once said that everything you've ever, wanted is on the other side of fear.
Yeah.
I always try to use Oprah as an example. If she never asked, she wouldn't have been declined, and she wouldn't have, piloted herself and navigated towards where she is today. So, like you said, it's not difficult. It's also difficult for women around here. It's not like, oh, we are in a developed world and we have it at a platter of gold. Okay, Oprah asked and she wasn't giving, and she's a woman. You are
Yeah.
in Nigeria, you are asked, you're not giving, you are a woman. I'm not saying that men do not face certain prejudices as well, but since we're focusing on women, we're talking about women. I think it's just the same. It's a uniform thing,
Yeah.
and we can't we can't change it overnight. Is everybody has to keep putting that little drop to form the ocean. So if
Yeah.
I'm using Opera as an example today, tomorrow someone in Nigeria or Switzerland or in Zimbabwe, right? You
Kenya, Zimbabwe. Phyllis
Kenya,
is from
yeah,
Kenya.
okay. So someone from any African state, West Africa, East Africa, wherever, will make the
Yeah.
same sacrifice. Because when you are saying, I do not want to continue staying where I'm not celebrated or valued, you're looking at the bigger picture. I'm going to lose my job if they refuse this asking. If I confront and they refuse, I'll lose my job. How do I pay my rent? Some of these things do not come easy. And we rather go to the easy part. I also faced
Yeah.
mine. I was supposed to be offered chief compliance officer in a company I worked, but it was going to come with being a lawyer. I looked at what the clauses in the agreement were, and I was also going to be offered, partnership and then chief compliance officer. Looking at the clause, I'm like, okay, I do not want this, and we can't find a way around it so that some of these things can be reviewed. And you said no, yes, I'm going to lose this job. I'm going to decline, and I'll lose my job. So there are some of the things we do, and I did decline, and I lost my job. Well, I found better ones right now. But the point is, it takes sacrifices as well. You cannot get on and be that change and have that influence and all that if you are not putting at the back of your mind that once you confront things, there are certain things that may happen. So what's the worst that can happen? Sit down, find out what they are. If you can, give those sacrifices. Go ahead. If you can't, well, continue doing what you're doing, and a time will open up. If you really want to move, that passion will make you, get to the other side. If you cannot do the sacrifices right now, continue. Mahatma Gandhi couldn't
Yeah.
let go of public speaking fear until the passion to make India free overwhelmed him. So something will always overwhelm you to the point that if you really want the change, to the point that you become the person you want to be. So confront situations, confront things, don't let fear win. Be as diplomatic as possible. Find out how people who have gone ahead of you did it. They made some mistakes. Learn from the mistakes so you can do yours better, and make sure that when you speak, your voice is heard and anybody around wants to listen to know what you're saying and give feedback in accordance with what you're saying. Lillian has said, don't be aggressive about it. It's not everything that has to do with aggression. So please learn more diplomacy than aggression.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Thank you so much. That hits home because I am dreaming of doing a TED talk, and the fear is like, ooh. Then I was thinking one night, well, how do I start this sentence if I really want to do this TED talk?
Yeah.
How am I going to build it? But the thing is, you prepare for it, and you start facing the fear. You ask yourself the question, how am I going to start the sentence? How do I open the discussion? What topics am I going to be talking about? So yeah,
Yeah.
maybe
I'm
it was
also there too. I was supposed to do a TED talk this year too. COVID made everything go online. But the truth is, I sat down, I researched. Okay, I don't know if you've read the book on TED Talks, and the analysis and reports and data on tech talks, and then the YouTube video on how tech talks are done. Like, it was overwhelming and mind blowing to see how everything happens. And the company that did the data analysis came to give a tech talk on how tech talks are done. I will
Yeah.
send you the link too, so you can
Please
see
do. Please
how
do.
those
So
start, how they say have a big, how the hand gestures, how everything is articulated. Yeah.
yeah, good. Okay, thank you so much. We said 30 minutes because we do not want to make it too long. We know women are busy. We come here, we talk about, we give one tip on how to confront this problem. Aggression is not allowed. Leave your mark, but please remember to question things, confront it, because you are not going to make any move. There will be no forward for you if you don't take that leap of faith. It was a pleasure spending this moment with you. I'm not sure we'll be here in December for another live stream because it's a busy moment for families, especially for women. We do not want to add more stress than you already have. But in January, we are going to start all over again. Each month we'll be here. But our fear strategies and AWIF, we are putting a package just for you. It's a package you cannot find somewhere else. It's just for you, to help you confront your fears, to help you work on your mindset. We're going to be doing this together. And she's one of our coaches, as I said. So you've seen her. You know the value she brings on the table. You know the value she brings to the continent. She's not only working for AWIF, she's also working for other nonprofit. So I do not have to explain any further, but that you can trust. So we are going to have this package next year, and everything will be on our website. Everything will come to you at the right time. But take that leap of faith to confront what you have to confront. So, my dear, thank you so much for your time. Let's discuss behind the scene how we take this forward. And I appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much, Julia. Thanks. All right.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
So that was it for today. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you found some value in this live stream. Share this with your family and friends. Do not forget to confront what is right in front of you. Learn to question things, not in an aggressive way. We have an amazing coach and she is doing an amazing job. If you need help with anything, the package will be out next year. So think about where you stand and where you want to go. Think about your life and what changes you want to make for yourself, your family, and your loved ones as from 2021 onwards. My name is Lilian Mole. I would like to remind you that you are the star that makes the difference. We are all together in this. There is no better or worse. It's a journey. It's not done yet. I'm really hopeful that many of us will cross that river of success. So on the other side, we will all be there to celebrate one another. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.